Welcome to the Dimp Digital Podcast. This is episode number 22, and this time you've got Logan, Hall, and myself, Apps. Chaps, how are we doing?
Yep, good, thanks.
Excellent.
Very well, thank you.
Superb. So, I thought we'd start the podcast up. I've got an admission to make. I've got to admit something to you guys.
Best news.
Yeah, well, you already know about it, but the listeners at home will be shocked at what's occurred. I've actually gone out and bought Destiny. So, that game that I've been taking jabs at from a distance, since probably the first podcast, in fact, without really ever giving it the time of day or validating any of my opinions on it. I was just assuming and making wild assumptions, which I don't like to do generally. So, at some point, I thought I've got to at least try this game properly. And I spotted that it was on Amazon for £15, and I thought, to be honest, for £15, it's got to be worth a punt at that price. Hall, you've played the absolute arsehole out of this, haven't you? I mean,
I have indeed, yeah.
Have I made a good investment here?
Absolutely. For 15 quid, that's such a good buy. I mean, as much as it's it might well have sort of split critics in the terms of a lot of people are saying, it's just too small and it's boring and it's repetitive or whatever. It's one game of the year at the Gaming BAFTAs. It's very highly critically acclaimed by most reviews. Obviously, I can't sing its praises enough. I've been a big fan, although I admit at times I can understand where people are coming from that say that there's not enough to it. But like I say, for 15 quid, I mean, you look at some of the shit that's on the Xbox Live marketplace for 15 quid,
or even free, which we'll come on to.
It's just outrageous. You can't not buy it for that price.
Yeah, I mean that was my rationale behind it. I thought 15 quid. That's not even you can barely get.
You trade it in for that probably.
Oh so. Yeah, and it's not even that though. I mean, you can get games that have been out 2 years that are probably still that price or a bit older. This has not even been out a year.
Yeah.
I do wonder whether it's cheap because there might be a perception that you need to have the DLC to enjoy it. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not. So maybe they're thinking at £15, then you're going to have to pay the other £35 or £20 at the moment to get the first piece of DLC. Now, I don't know how true that actually is, whether I'll be able to get away with just the vanilla part of the game. Mr. Logan, you sort of seem to like it, you hate it, you love it, you hate it. Where do you stand on this at the moment, at this very moment in time as we speak?
Yeah, I think it's worth the money. I don't think you can go wrong for 30 quid on it, 25 quid, let alone 15. I think the way I see it is the order, right? You can steam through that relatively short game. That looks fantastic as well, selling that as a full retail game. So you're going to get more game out of Destiny for £15 than you would out of the order. So just using that as an example, I'm not having a bash at the order.
No,
I'm just saying if you compare and then you get... Well, it looks fantastic. To be fair to the order, I know we're going off track here, but I was watching a video of that this morning, and it looks awesome, but it's just cutscene after cutscene, and I'd be livid if I was playing that.
Seamless though, isn't it, with the gameplay? That's what they're saying.
There's a lot of hold this button, hold that button. It's not really gameplay, but anyway, you can't go wrong. But I do think that in order you can play to a certain extent without any DLC.
This is what I want to know. How many hours am I getting out of that?
We played ages just with the basic. Yeah, we played ages with that, but
it depends on how much it really depends on what you want to put into it, Apps. If you want to get to the top level and you want to commit your character and you want to do the hardest missions, then you'll get a good few days of gameplay time out of it. But if you just want to finish the main mission on it and just get to the end of the storyline, then maybe slightly less. But
as I've said before, though, me and Hall are still playing some of the missions that we originally got the game with. So and I don't get bored of it really. I could sit there. I mean, we did on that last bank holiday weekend. We literally sat on that hall for almost 2 days, really.
Yeah.
Like just playing mission after mission and some of the different ones, doing different
drilling through it again.
Yeah, and I appreciate that we are grinding it, but at the same time, I don't me. I absolutely hate a grind. It literally,
you loathe the repetitive tasks, don't you?
I hate it.
Hates Minecraft.
And I don't actually sit there thinking. It doesn't feel like I'm grinding it. So
Well,
So
yeah,
enjoyable, isn't it? It's
yeah,
still
yeah.
so the gameplay on it is so good, and the
yeah,
That's
way
what
it
I'm.
controls and everything
Yeah,
is so
it
it's
plays
so
so
fluid
well.
and so
Yeah.
comfortable. It feels so natural in comparison to a lot of the FPSs that are coming out at the moment. That,
yeah.
like I say, it's very difficult to criticise it as a purchase for 15 quid.
No, exactly.
Mhm.
And I'll be starting obviously from a new character. I'm hoping the pair of you join me on that venture because
Yeah.
I imagine that
Absolutely will do.
I'll get the most experience out of it having. We'll have a fire squad, then we'll have a fire team, three of
Mm.
us, then
I
starting at the
think I'd
same sort
quite
of
like
level
to play through it again as well
with
at the
different
start.
character
Yeah, I just
and
think
class and that.
I haven't actually played through it as a campaign again yet, so
No,
I think I'd like to do that. I'm looking forward to doing that.
and we can all do that together. I make not
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
yeah, it'd be good because I mean, and what you'll find is that when you get to the very top levels on it, having more than one character makes a big difference. I mean, I've got
sure.
two characters that are both top level now,
Hmm.
so I'm
Different
looking to,
classes, are they? Or
yeah, I'm now looking to build up my third
yeah,
to get that up to scratch. So I'll be doing that with you boys, hopefully.
excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to this little journey and seeing where it takes. And I don't think we'll be talking about Destiny for a little while, but I'm sure once I've made my analysis on it, maybe we'll bring it up again. Maybe it'll be around the time that the second DLC pack releases. I will see and watch this space, and we'll find out what I have to say about it. I'll try and give it as much time as I can, but I have started Dragon Age Inquisition, and that is an absolute
Oh,
time
Monster.
zapper. It is a time zapper. I think I'm about 18 hours in already, and I'll be honest, I've probably done about 3 story campaigns. Just the main
Christ.
story campaigns. Now I've figured out what they are. There's so many side quests. I've been doing those. I've been running around gathering resources. I don't need these resources really, but I've been trying to upgrade my armor
Mm.
and standing around in like the mother base, which is called the Haven, just talking to your allies and finding out about their background and the lore of what Dragon Age has to offer.
Mm.
I've just been it's made by the guys behind Mass Effect, so
Is
I
that, I
really.
was going to say, as someone that's not played the Dragon Age games, is
Mm.
that what you would probably compare it most closely to, the Mass Effect games, or?
Yeah, certainly, because I mean, BioWare develop it, and
Yeah.
you can the way that the dialogue trees work and the way that the mission structures work, and to a certain extent, the main core of the game where you're recruiting allies through the game, and the fact that you get choices throughout it, dialogue choices. It's the same sort of theme, but it's set in a completely different world, so it feels completely fresh. I mean, I have to say that the amount of backstory to this game is incredible. It's ridiculous how much they've put
With
into this world.
Yeah, with the backstory and like the lore that goes with it, one of the things that I quite liked about the Mass Effect games, and I think like the Halos have done it really well as well, is
Yeah.
that it's not rammed down your throat.
No,
You've got the
yeah,
option. You can investigate into it if you want to, and there's
sure.
separate websites and bits and pieces. Is this much the same? Is there much to it? Is it kind of forced upon you that you have to know about it, or is it a choice that you can make
Not
a conscious effort to go and investigate if you want to?
not really. It's not forced down your throat, but I would say to get the most out of this, you want to get up to scratch of what's going on. I personally did because I've never played the first 2 Dragon Age, so I was at a slight disadvantage. Had I played those 2, maybe I wouldn't have had to do this, but I actually went off of my own back and researched for about an hour or 2 before actually starting the game, just find out what had happened, what all the different characters mean, all the different races, what the politics and the racial issues they've got in this universe. That's another completely separate part of it, which is great. And just finding out what the state of Theodos is whilst I jumped into it. So I think to get the most out of it, you'd do that. If you wanted to get the full Dragon Age Inquisition experience, you want to know as much as you can. But there's a codex there that as you pick up certain items or you encounter certain people, it will populate the codex with information about them. And if you want to read them, you can. If you don't want to read them, you haven't got to.
So
Fair enough.
a lot
Yeah.
of I saw a lot of press about this, or they were sort of talking about it as game of the year sort of material.
Yeah.
Can you sort of see that in it?
Yeah, so yeah, because like I said,
If
18
it's anything
hours
like the
in,
Mass Effects,
yeah,
yeah.
the quality of this game is, you can't deny how good it is. But it's one of those games where it's not always going to appeal to the masses because you've got to make a commitment into it.
Mm.
You have to commit and actually go, right, I've got to sit down and probably I reckon the first playthrough you've got to put in a good 3 hour stint just playing through it, getting used to how it all works, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Because if you try and play an hour at a time, sort of once a week, you're not gonna get sucked into the story. You're not going to enjoy it as much. So I can see why people who don't play games as much, or haven't got enough time to play this particular game and don't want to invest themselves in one title, wouldn't enjoy it. On the other hand, because I'm a person who likes to play one single player game at a time and then multiplayer to sort of flesh it out, this is perfect for me because I can just sit down and just go, right, Dragon Age, mental on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's obviously one of those ones that really can sap your life away, like you say, like the Mass Effects, the Skyrims, and everything. So definitely something that I might have to pay a bit of time to. But at the minute, I've just got so many other ones that I'm kind of half finished on that I don't think I can really afford to commit to that. And like I say, give it the amount of time that it needs and it deserves to kind of get the most out of it, if you will.
Yeah, I mean that's another issue with these games. Should you need to make the effort and commit to these games? Some would say, well, no, you shouldn't have to do that. But it's like any entertainment. If you want to sit down and watch the Godfather series, you've got to sit down and watch it. You can't just willy-nilly stick that on. You've got to invest your time there to get the most out of those things. But it's a great game. I'll be doing a review when I finally get to the end of it. That's what I'm going to be playing for the foreseeable future. I'm going to make sure I put at least one evening a week in with Destiny, whether it's with you guys or on my own or whatever, and see where I get to that. But Bloodborne, The Witcher 2, they're the two other ones on my radar. Maybe Batman, I'm not quite sure on that one. But as you know, if you've been watching the Dimp Digital YouTube channel, you'll know that I've been doing a Let's Play of Limbo, and I managed to complete that. I thought, Hall, just because you had said to me before I started playing it as an awesome game, we could have a quick catch up and just get your opinion of what you thought of Limbo, because I thought it was bloody brilliant.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. The puzzles on it are very challenging. It was my brother that recommended it to me because he did a playthrough of it, and then I thought I would give it a bash after he'd done it.
Yeah.
It was on Games with Gold when we got it, so it was actually free to download.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago, but I had it on my 360 and I got it for free to play. The one, like I say, really enjoyed it, like the style of it, like the way it looked, like the way it's played, like the cleverness of the puzzles and bits and pieces, and the way that it almost tricks you into ways that puzzles work. Like one way, at one time they'll work one way and you think you've got it sussed, and then you're completely thrown a curveball.
Yeah.
The only criticism I have with it is that it has very, very little replayability. I went back and did it again to get the 1000G on it to collect all the specials on it and everything, and it's not one that I'm going to pick up again and play through again, purely because I know what's coming. I know the puzzles. I know the bits that make you jump. It's not much of a kind of replay value to it, unfortunately. But what do you expect from a sort of relatively small arcade game? It's not one that's there to be another Dragon Age.
No.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's not priced at that same point, is it? It's a lot cheaper, and I think I'd done it in about 3.5, 4 hours. I think if I went back and did it again, could probably do it in just over an hour.
Yeah.
But you spend so much time working out the puzzles, that is half the game. But that's what it is at the end of the day. It's a puzzler, and I don't think you can play many puzzle games over again unless they change it up the next time you go through. So the whole point of it is that you're trying to work your way through this weird limbo world and get to the other side of it. So once you know what to do and the nuts and bolts of it, the challenge is gone. So essentially all you're trying to do is speed run it, or I think there's an achievement for getting through it with under 5 deaths, something like that. So
that was Ball Lake.
Was that difficult? Did you get it?
It was a Ball Lake. Yeah, like I say, I 1000G'd it on the 360 and it wasn't fun.
What was the hardest bit?
I remember the very final puzzle.
Yeah.
The first time that I played through it, I had an absolute stinker on.
Yeah.
And there are some that require. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't played through it, obviously, and haven't seen the playthroughs. Yeah. But there are some puzzles that require you to be quite good with your timing. If you miss a relatively short time window, then you will die.
It's not just knowing the puzzle, you've got to execute it perfectly, otherwise you're
and there's nothing more frustrating than trying to get that 5 life achievement and then dying. And it's just the worst.
I might give that a go. I'm not really much of an achievement hunter, but as a challenge it seems like
it's
pretty
quite
good
a fun one to do.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, there's Let's Plays of the series going up on the channel at the moment. If you want to see me stumbling my way through Limbo, make sure you check out the channel for that. Let's quickly cover off one of our. It's becoming a regular feature now, and I've sort of dubbed it. I've sort of come up with an ingenious name: Delay News, because every time we talk,
we need a jingle.
Yeah, we should.
I'll figure something out. Don't worry.
If it's like that Christmas, if it's like Christmas jingle, don't bother. That was
fucking bin it.
But every time we reconvene, and it's only every 2 weeks that we regularly do it. There's always a bloody delay to talk about. This one there's two here, in fact, that I've picked out. There might have even been more, but the first one's Dead Island 2. I wasn't overly interested in that. I wasn't into the first game. I gave it a good crack, good 5-6 hours, and then just binned it, which is very unlike me because I like to see things through to completion. But all the release date had, all they'd mentioned was the release date was going to be spring. That's all they said. But sources from Eurogamer Czech and Videogamer.com have said that it's going to be put until September this year, so that's been knocked back only a little bit. But this is what's weird. Their website hasn't been updated since December, and their Twitter account has only posted one tweet since December. That sounds like down the drain jobby to me.
Yeah, that
it's
sounds
weird,
like
isn't
a
it?
business job, doesn't it? But
That is odd. We have to watch this space, but it's unlike a game to do, unless they're just thinking, maybe they've got themselves in the right old state and they're thinking we can't be going around trying to piss around doing marketing. We've got to really just get this into gear and get it done. I don't know, but that's been delayed. I'm not really interested in that one. The big one for me personally is the Zelda Wii U being delayed. Now, it was promised this would arrive at some point during 2015, and we've now got confirmation that it's likely to arrive in 2016. Annoying, because I think I mentioned it on an earlier podcast, that was going to be my Wii U bundle this year. I was going to wait till Zelda came out. That was going to be the bundle that would make me get my Wii U. And now I probably won't get one this year, because the whole reason I was going to get one was because I wanted to play the new Zelda game. What do you make of this, Hall? I mean, this is a sting in the tail to you more than anyone, because you're the one that owns the Wii U at the moment.
I think I'm in the camp that a lot of the Nintendo fans kind of are. In that every delay that we've spoken about on here so far, it's kind of been relative outrage of people being pissed off that stuff has been knocked back. And then when they have rushed to release things like the Assassin's Creed, everyone's complained.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know how much you've read about this with the whole knockback, but Nintendo fans have kind of just gone, all right, cool. Excellent.
They are very loyal, though.
I'd rather you delay it and get it right than rush it out and get it wrong. And you know, it's rare that kind of happens when you have such a big title that you, like you say, so many people are kind of looking forward to. Maybe that's just the Nintendo contingent that have got that. To be fair, kind of attitude.
Nintendo don't blow a lot of games. Like, if it comes out, it's polished and there's not a lot of mess
well,
in
that's
it.
the thing, and I think
they're all up to high quality. So
I think that's what people know, and if it's being delayed, there's a reason behind it. And Nintendo have come out and said if we were to release it this year, it wouldn't be of an acceptable standard that we would be satisfied with. So unfortunately, we're going to delay it ever so slightly, just to make sure that you get the game that we've all imagined. So
what about this little bit of not rumour, it's what some people are saying. Zelda Wii U delayed, so it can be a launch title for Nintendo NX, and then be downported to the Wii U, much like I think Twilight Princess wasn't it? That was released on the Wii as a launch, and then downported to the GameCube, wasn't it?
I mean,
that was delayed as well. That was delayed for that reason.
Crossed my mind, to be honest, but I'm not sure. I'm still not convinced. I think the Wii was a little bit further into development, but at that point than the Nintendo NX supposedly is, especially as from what we've seen of Zelda Wii U, it looks as though it is quite heavily reliant upon the tablet.
I saw the map and stuff you moved, don't you?
Yeah, and it's obviously it's designed. It looks currently as though it's designed for that console, but you don't know. I mean, like you say, it's happened before. You wouldn't put it past Nintendo. I kind of hope that's not the case, but if it is, I'm sure they will kind of keep people informed in due time. I'd rather know that the delay was happening and know what's going on rather than them rush it out. So
yeah, sure. Logan, you've been sitting there sort of taking this all in. What would be the one game that would really get on your nerves if it was delayed this year? Is there one game out there and you think if they delayed that, I'd be livid?
Yeah.
Football Manager, I assume. That was delayed to 2017. Wow.
No, because I could just play 2015. It don't matter. It's exactly the same.
Lowest scored one in a decade. Go on.
Halo 5, I think, for me at the minute.
Yeah.
And there is probably a realistic chance that it could happen.
Well, now, it's a great segue. I don't know if you've done that on purpose. I mean, it skipped the agenda I've got in front of me, but let's just go into Halo 5 because we've got a release date, haven't we? 27th of October, Halo 5 Guardians.
Yeah.
And now, you say that it could be pushed, but it was actually revealed in the US during the Walking Dead finale. and that is a very, very expensive slot to get that, because there's a lot of people in the States watching that, and a lot of people over here that watch that. We didn't get that particular trailer come through to us, so I don't see that being pushed back. I think they've got that locked in, otherwise they wouldn't have spent the money to release the date in such a premium slot to say that Halo 5 is coming out. I don't think
would be pretty brave, wouldn't it, to do that and then delay.
That's a massive audience they're hitting there, so I think we're safe on that one. Famous last words.
Yeah, I really hope so, because
everyone's waiting.
It's
for
literally
it,
the one game I've literally got a calendar for the year, and I've got June. I'm looking at Payday. That's not really a new game, and then literally it goes all the way down to that, and it's like Halo 5.
Yeah.
And that
Massive
is
letters, just
Halo 5. Yeah. And I'm just really hoping that they get it spot on. I mean, as you know, we've talked about on the Let's Talk and stuff, but I was really impressed, and I absolutely loved playing Halo.
Yeah.
And not only that, I'm quite intrigued to play the story as well after doing a little bit of research on that. So I'm just really looking forward to that game, and I don't want to be disappointed by it.
No, I mean, I think I think the release date's safe. You've seen both the trailers, because there's two, isn't there, from two perspectives.
You
got one from Master Chief and one from Spartan Locke. And apparently it ties into the Nightfall show. Did either of you bother watching that? Because I know a lot was made. Some people going, "Oh, it's Ridley Scott's Halo," and it's not, because he was just an executive producer on the first episode.
Yeah.
The executive producer probably meant he just went, "Yep, that's it."
Go over there.
Yeah, executive producer literally means nothing. So
I think executive producer literally means gives the funds or something like that. It's literally.
Or they go, "Can we attach your name to this, because it'll give us
credit." People will be like, "Oh, Ridley Scott." Please.
I can't remember what I was watching, or I heard something about this the other day. Someone mentioned executive producer, and I went, "Well, they literally just mean nothing on anything."
No, you'll often see, like, when an actor gets a bit of profile, they'll appear as an executive producer in the film they're starring in, and you think, well, how's they getting that title? But anyway, no one bothered with Nightfall. The only time I bothered with it is to fast forward it so I could unlock the beta of Halo 5.
Yeah.
It was a weird requirement where you had to have watched the Nightfall series, and I was like, in the Halo channel app, I was like, what is all this shit I've got to do?
Really
I just want to play the game. I don't want to do this.
It was fucking lewd. It was really stressing me out, because I remember texting you going, "What the fuck have I got to do to download this beta? It's just driving me up the wall." And you were like, "You've got to go through the app, and then you've got." I was like, "I don't want to do this. I just want to play the fucking game. That's all I want to do. Stop stressing me out." But I haven't seen it. But it looks like there's going to be some twists and turns in this new story. So I'm quite intrigued to see how it all develops, I think. But yeah, it looks really good, and I don't want that to be delayed at all, because then we're creeping into November time, which is Blops or Call of Duty territory, should we say?
No one cares, mate. Drop that shit.
We're done with Halo 5
finished with that. We've got over this.
Well, the one thing I wanted to mention of Halo 5 before we move on to Black Ops, because that has been announced as well, is that at the end of the trailer it puts #HuntTheTruth. Why are we hashtagging everything? Why are they making up their own hashtags? Pack it in.
Because it's a really good marketing technique.
Well, I've hashtagged all videos on the Dimp Digital Twitter channel. It gets nothing, so I don't know if it is.
We don't be doing advertising. That's where it's all going wrong.
No budget there, is there?
Just start putting a #FindTheTruth in all of our Dimp Digital posts.
Yeah, they'll all
people stumble across it by accident.
See what
Find the
happens.
truth.
Put that. Put Hunt the Truth, or we will not get found at all.
No.
Another thing they put on there at the end was, "The truth is never what it seems." I was like, well, the truth is the truth. It is. Sorry.
Otherwise, it's lies.
It's lies. It's not the truth, is it? You idiots. But enough of that.
Philosophical saying's correct.
Yeah. You mentioned Call of Duty there, which is interesting, because you saying, "Oh, it's November time. It's gonna be into Call of Duty territory." But you've both written it off. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 has been announced. You've both written it off. Does it at all interest you? Are you even going to look at this, even if they go, "This is the best COD since COD 4"?
It's not possible for it to be. They've done this to me every year since COD 4.
they've duped us every single fucking year.
Every year, and I'm sick of it. They've duped me for about 6 years in a row or something, and I ain't having it.
Problem is, though, we both get to this stage and we go, "No, I'm not buying into this shit." We said this last year. We said it the year before last.
This is my worry. Yeah.
Out it comes, and guess who's first in line? Hall Logan.
This is the
worry,
worry, because, as I say, if for whatever reason Halo 5 doesn't launch properly, they've got problems, I'll go, right, I gave it a chance. What else have I got? Blops, right. I like Blops 2. You see, that's what will go from my head.
That's the worrying thing.
Oh,
Blops 1 and Blops
Newtown.
2 were both semi-respectable. They weren't a sack of shit.
Yeah, so this is the concern. This is what
already
happens. My brain, my brain will start convincing me that it's a good idea, and it knows full well it's a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be getting it, but to be fair, I think I played Black Ops 1, and that was one of the better story campaigns that I'd gone through. It seemed decent enough. Like, it was Treyarch, isn't it, who done the World at War series, which I think you liked, didn't you, Logan? That was one of your favourite ones, the World at War series with the World War II and zombie mode, which is, the developer that gave birth to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tempted, but not. I'm not going to be bothering with buying it at full price. If someone has it and they go, you can borrow that to play the campaign, I go, yes, please. Much like Advanced Warfare, I'm not going to be going out of my way to get it. And I still find it weird that Call of Duty, their trailers, this announcement, this reveal trailer as they called it, was poor. And they focus it on the story, even though it's always shit. You think, what are you doing? I don't get it. Like, no one picks this up and goes, "Oh, I'll play the story and then get rid of it." It's like, no, the story's there, but I'm going to play multiplayer straight away.
I'll tell you, I've told a lie actually. I've forgotten. I forgot about Rainbow Six. I forgot about that. But anyway.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Well,
but
I don't know if that's even got a cemented release date, so that could be next year.
Well, a replacement though, isn't it? That's all that is.
That's what I'm kind of hoping.
It's not a series that we've ever been interested in. It's just a Call of Duty replacement.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed really because I've been watching some of the older ones that were come out in 2006, 2007.
Vegas.
Yeah, it actually looks quite good. I think, how
have you missed that?
I was so locked in Call of Duty that I've literally gone oblivious to any other first-person shooter that was around.
I had Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2. Actually, I didn't have them. I was renting them. I was renting games at the time, but I rented both of them. And they were both brilliant. They're a good single-player campaign. It was brutally hard at times because it was sort of 2 bullets and you're down.
Pretty tough,
But there was a great co-op mode called Terrorist Hunt.
Yes, that's what I've been watching.
Yeah, and I think I discussed it on one of the earlier podcasts with Tom about the story of me and Biff were in there and some guy joined me, threw a grenade at him and killed him because we didn't want him in our lobby. Wiped him out. He was livid. But it'd just be me, him, and sometimes Reeves would join us, and there'd be about 40 odd terrorists in this building. And you could obviously go in from any angle. You could abseil up a building, going from the roof, going in the window, and you work together to try and take down the whole
intelligent AI as well.
Yeah, they weren't stupid. And I say 2 bullets and you were down anyway, so you had to be real careful. But it did encourage a lot of teamwork. I hope they've still got a mode like that in there because what I've seen of this new Rainbow Six, is it called Siege? Is that the right word? Yeah. It looks very multiplayer focused, which is fine. They're not trying to do a COD and say, look at our story, when really it's about multiplayer. But I'd like to see a co-op mode in there again with the terrorist hunt, just because being player v player, if you come up against a team of legends, it's not fun to play, is it, when you're getting smashed and you're not very good.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to have 3 or 4 of you sit down and take on the computer, because generally you can outsmart the computer after a few tries. Whereas when you're losing round after round against other players and they're sending you messages of abuse, you're like, well, why have I wasted 3 hours of my evening doing this?
I even tweeted them the other day saying, please, 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 can you get it so we can put our faces on the characters?
Because you could do that, yeah.
Yeah, you could do that in the old one. So if you can do it on that, then do it on the new one. Even if you have to upload it online or whatever, because there's no cameras. Actually, Connect. What am I thinking?
Connect, yeah, that is
completely.
I'm surprised not. I know EA had it with Game Face and whatnot, but it wasn't on the UFC game. And I was like, right, that's a bit weird because that's sort of one where you create just a single character and you think, right, I'll put myself on that. But no, I don't know, because I think the graphics these days are so advanced and the character models they put in, it'd be tough for them to just place your face on and make it move, because faces aren't static anymore. They've got creases in them, they blink, their mouths move, all that stuff, and it's going to be hard to replicate that on a version of your face.
Yeah, you say that, but I think FIFA have got that quite well, because they've got the game face on there, and my character still blinks, and it still managed to do all the movement and stuff to a good enough degree and that's FIFA, where you think, well, they're not really putting that kind of effort.
But half the fun
that's what I'm saying though, because they're not putting effort into it to make them look realistic. Whereas I imagine the characters' faces on Rainbow Six, because there's only 4 of them, are going to be highly detailed, so it's going to look out of place.
But half the fun on the old Rainbow Sixes when your face was on there
was that
it looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it was so poorly. It was basically a flat image that was like wrapped around a balloon, and it just looked absurd. But that was half the fun of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. No. Maybe they will bring it back. I don't know, but you should be tweeting them saying make sure you put terrorist hunt in. Not worry about this game face bollocks.
Well, got my priorities right first.
Well, get another one in there and hashtag it Hunt the Truth and get everyone on board with that. But that was Black Ops 3. We've gone off course, which says all we need to say about our interest in what Black Ops 3 has got to offer. Hall, you've downloaded one of the Games of Gold games, haven't you?
Yeah.
Now, we know that, Logan, you're a big fan of Pure Pool. You talked Hall into buying Pure Pool.
Such a good game. They literally got it right.
Are you still playing it?
No.
Well, there you go. But there's only so many things you can play on a virtual pool because you can go down the pub and play it for £1 if you really need to.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be better. But Pool Nation FX has dropped free with Xbox Games with Gold. So, Hall, you seem to enjoy Pure Pool. How does Pool Nation FX stack up to Pure Pool?
I can genuinely say it's the worst game I've ever played.
How?
I don't know how they can get something so simple so wrong.
Tell me about the balls.
How does it look?
It looks okay.
Right.
It looks okay. It doesn't look any better or any worse than Pure Pool.
Fine. Tick.
The control method on it is the most counterintuitive thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Why?
The aiming on it is either super over the top sensitive. You have like a normal aim where you obviously move the stick around, and then you have a fine aim where you hold down one of the bumpers and it allows you to move a bit more carefully. So you've either got an option of swinging around the table halfway round, or you can slow it down to where you move like a degree every 20 minutes. It's so slow, it's unbelievable. So the aiming is horrendous.
Yeah.
The power settings on it are infuriating. Like, I didn't get much of a feel for the ones on Pure Pool, but that seems like a dream in comparison to this.
Wow.
The game mode styles on it are horrendous. Like you enter into a tournament and it says, oh, you need to win X amount of games to get to the final of the tournament. If you lose a game, you're not out of the tournament, you just replay that game.
Yep.
So
Classic.
It makes no difference at all.
No, you just keep losing until you win.
Just keep losing until you win. Yeah, there's no knockout stages. There's no nothing. There's no sense of achievement for winning a tournament without losing or whatever.
No
else.
high stakes there, is there? It's
no.
Just like, I'll just keep replaying, grinding on a level to.
They've tried to be too clever with the physics of the way that the balls react to one another, so it's not realistic at all.
Right.
It's just one of the worst games I've ever played, and it was 12 gigabytes.
Yeah, I was
so
going
it
to
took
say,
me,
how big was it?
And it took me about. I mean, I've got a quick internet, and it took me probably about an hour and a half to download it because I was having a slow day. And I got it, and it's the only game that I've removed off of my hard drive. I mean, I've got some shit on my hard drive, but I removed that within. I probably played it for about 4 hours, and I had to remove it.
4 hours still.
4 hours.
Well, I thought I was going to give it benefit.
4 hours of a misery.
To be
You just
fair-
sit there going, this is fucking shit.
To be fair,
I'm going to give it a go.
Is...
I'm not going to just put like 2 frames in and be like, right, this is toilet.
No,
I thought
good.
I'm really going to try and get into it. I'm going to go. Maybe I'm just not used to the controls. Maybe I needed to fiddle with the sensitivity or invert the look, which I did. I tried everything. Still shit. Worst game I've ever played.
Good boy. Well, at least you gave it the time of day. You gave it such a slating review to Logan. He actually. Well, you're going to cancel your download, aren't you,
on
Logan?
the day, I was online and I spoke to Logan, didn't I? You came into a party and you saw that I said that I'd been playing it, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I've got it on download." I was like, "Don't bother, just take it off now."
Even for free.
They would have to pay me to download it again.
The thing is, the way I saw it was, I thought, I thought it was a bit odd that there's another pool game coming out, considering Pure Pool hit the nail on the head, really. So I thought, what's this new one offering? So I thought, I'll see what it's all about. And then as soon as Hall said, nah, it's pretty much Pure Pool but worse, I thought, well, I don't need another one, so why am I going to waste 6 days downloading this? But
one of the really good things about Pure Pool as well is that the interface on it was nice and simple. You could get into a game quickly. You could challenge your mates. This one, I don't know what's going on. There's options over here. The fucking control system, even in the menus, is shocking. How have they managed to fuck that up? Why would you not have the option to change one of the options be left and right on the on the control stick. No, we'll use the triggers. That's a lot more sensible. Fucking
Yeah, that's
idiot.
poor. Yeah. Well, Pool Nation FX slammed by Hall. So
Don't bother.
if you've got it downloading whilst you're listening to this,
Turn it
Hall,
off.
turn it off.
Turn it off.
That's
And
what he
go
said.
write a letter to the company saying stop making games.
Letter.
Tweet
A
them.
letter.
Hashtag
No.
hunt the truth.
No,
No?
more deserving of a letter. A letter means more because you've gone to more effort.
Yeah, that is
Tweet
true.
them as well. Do it all.
Do it all. Email them, get the lot. Poor old Pool Nation
Put
FX.
dog
Anyway.
shit through the letterbox.
Okay, right. The BBC are planning to produce a TV drama about Rockstar Games. Now, Daniel Radcliffe is in line to star in this as one of the Hauser brothers, and he's one of the co-owners of Rockstar Games. And apparently, it's based around. When I first heard GTA movie, the first thing I thought was yes, Franklin, Trevor, Michael, running riot. Blah, blah. But no, this is actually almost reminds me of Social Network, where it seems like it's a true to life account of a particular rise of a certain company. And what this, from what I've read, is focusing on is the fight between the creators of Grand Theft Auto and a Miami lawyer who went sick on him and wanted it banned across America, and I think his name's John Thompson or Josh Thompson. He wanted him banned and taken off the market, which seems like a strange basis for a story. I thought the rise of it would have been good, but it seems like a lot of it's going to be heavily involved around this dispute almost. And I find it weird that the BBC are picking this up. I don't know what you guys think of what's going on here, or whether you think it'll be any good.
Well, I'm a bit stunned at this Daniel Radcliffe revelation.
That's the rumour, and it's come from reliable sources that he's in negotiations. He's definitely not agreed it yet, but that's who they're trying to line up for it.
Yeah, I still can't see Daniel Radcliffe as anything other than Harry Potter, so I really struggle with it. But
it's out of order.
So you have to be very careful with these films. I mean, I haven't seen The Social Network, but for example, the one they did of Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the film was called now, but that was good.
Jobs.
That was really good.
Jobs.
Yeah, Jobs. Yeah. I was trying to think if it's called Apple or something. I think it's a one-syllable word, but I can't remember. But that was actually an interesting film because there is a whole story of a life there. There's a lot that's happened. It was a big rise, but this is just solely really a game developer, and I don't really see where the interesting story is. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but
like I said, it's to do with this. It seems to be to do with this conflict they had and this fight to keep Grand Theft Auto on the market in the United States, because there were lawyers gunning for him and wanted it removed because it encouraged video game violence, real life violence. I think part of it was to do with this. Do you remember the hot coffee mod that was found in the PC games? I think you could maybe mod your PS2 to find it. Basically, it was a bit of code that was left in San Andreas that wasn't available in the game. If you bought it,
but it was initially going to be in the game.
It was initially going to be in it, and then what they did, they left it in there. Stupidly, they left this bit of code in there. Some clever dick found it, and basically it was when you had the dates and you take them back to your apartment and you end up banging them or whatever. This was actually a mini game revolving around you actually doing the deed. So when this got found, it blew up on the internet. Everyone was going mental, going, "This game's sick," even despite the fact that, like I've said, it wasn't actually in the game release. People had to hack the game to find this, but still, that really blew up in their face and caused massive controversy.
So that annoys me, because I think, right, so everyone sort of goes, "Yep, that's acceptable to go and blow someone's head off and do all this shit."
They weren't saying no. They're saying you
no,
can't.
No,
do
I'm
that.
just saying
They
that's
hate
okay to be released. But if you see someone, which ultimately boils down to it's a natural act, then the fucking people start going mental and going, "Ooh!"
I don't. It was they didn't want to release it. I think it come to a point where Rockstar went, "Nah, we don't even want that in there." But it was a big uproar, really, considering like you're right, there's copious amounts of violence in the game, but I think in America it's seen as more acceptable than a sexual act for whatever reason.
Says it all. But I don't know. It doesn't really, at the moment, without knowing a bit more about it, it doesn't seem to be this sort of gripping story that's going to want. So I think.
So even as a gamer, you wouldn't be interested in just thinking, "Oh, this is about a franchise that I love. They're British, people that made this and founded Rockstar."
Yeah,
That
but
still doesn't interest you. What do you
I
want
don't
to
know.
watch?
I don't anything other than.
Transformers. Is that what you want to go and see again?
Well, we need to get Biff on that. But anyway,
I'm not
all I,
watching that.
all I'm saying is that I don't know. It's for me to want to watch something that's based on real life. I want to sort of know about it beforehand. Does that make sense?
So you want to know the ending?
No, no, no.
Do you want to know the American Sniper ending? Is that what you're saying?
No. So, for example,
No.
last night I watched Charles Bronson. That intrigues me. The story of Bronson intrigues me because he's a complete loony. I want to know why, what happened.
But
This
the
is just
film's
someone.
not completely factual.
No, it's not. No, it's based on it. But this is just a story about someone going, no, not this violence. They're going, yes, violence. They're going, no, it shouldn't have it. Yes, it's just going to be. Oh, I don't know.
Well, I find it weird the BBC are doing it, but the Social
BBC
Network, there's no violence or there's no loonies in that. It's the story about how he, rose up and ended up sort of half screwing over his old mates.
Yeah, job.
Like you can make a decent film out of it and a fictional piece out of it. Just 'cause it's based on a true life account. They'll obviously won't have it just as like boring courtroom stuff constantly. It's an entertainment show at the end of the day. Hall, have you got any opinion on this whatsoever?
It's not something that really appeals. I don't know if I'd go and see it specifically.
Hopefully it's going to be released on the telly. I think it's airing on BBC Two. They've said.
Yeah, they're not going to go blockbuster film.
Yeah,
the thing that I'm different on with Loading is I feel like I know quite a bit about the kind of the background of Rockstar. I knew quite a lot about the Hot Coffee piece. I read up on a lot of it, and I know a reasonable amount of kind of what's behind the scenes with Rockstar and how they operate and why decisions have been made in the way that they had and the controversy that happened with it. Whereas with something like, I quite enjoyed the Social Network, but that's because I knew very little about the acquisition of Facebook and where it came from and everything. I don't feel like I need to watch a documentary or a sort of semi-fiction, semi-documentary about Rockstar. A what?
Documentary, fictional based. No.
I don't think it's going to be a drama, so it will not be a
documentary. All right. Well, I don't feel like I need to watch a drama based around Rockstar games when I know sort of a reasonable amount of what's going on. I can't help but feel it's going to paint video games in a bad light as well.
That is a worry, actually. I didn't really think of that. You'd hope they'd do a good job on it, but you're right.
What concerns me is that it's going to be the scaremongering of, this dreaded video game of Grand Theft Auto that,
Stop buying it for your fucking kids. That's what I'd say.
Well,
it doesn't help, though, that when you get these lunatics who, go out and murder a load of people and then cite that they've been playing GTA and blah, blah, blah.
They're going to be doing it anyway.
A lot of them have been playing Pool Nation FX and gone mental. It's the new sort of study that's gone in. They're just getting sick of that game.
Understandable.
I think we should, when it airs, whenever it airs,
boycott it.
We should all sit down. It's on BBC Two. It's no skin off our nose to just sit there and watch it, is there? And see what's happened.
We should watch. We'll get together and watch it together, I think.
Well, I don't know about that. But we will watch it at some point. Yeah, but I think hopefully it doesn't paint. That's actually a good. I never thought of that, painting video games in a bad light. You're right. It has to be done properly, otherwise it will sting us even more.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll do it with some integrity, but you just don't know.
We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're so successful. They've sold the most successful game of all time.
Sure.
I don't think it matters.
I would hope that the BBC are going to produce this and base it on the success of a rise of a British company that's come from these shores and how it's got global domination. That's what you'd think. That's what you think.
Hope.
Yeah, that's what you'd hope. But
to be fair, BBC, these sort of BBC adaptations and dramas are normally pretty good.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
I'm quite encouraged by it.
Yeah, we'll all sit down and watch it. That's sort of a bit of homework for us. And when it comes out, when we know a bit more about it, and then we can maybe reconvene and see what we actually thought of it and if it was a bag of shit. Friends, as you know,
so eager to say that.
Well, he's been waiting, isn't he?
Friend.
The greatest games of all time 3-part special was finally finished. So it wasn't really the greatest games of all time. It was me and Mr. Aycock just going through our favourite games.
Listing the best games that you know of, yeah.
Our favourite games, yeah. And at no point is that an objective list. There's loads of stuff missing, loads of stuff we got wrong. But I won't obviously go through mine; they've been documented. But I thought rather than going through the entire generations again with you two, but we spend a lot of time here, we might as well at least sort of do a light touch your favourite games and just focus on the last generation and find out what your favourite games were and reminisce about those particular games on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and Nintendo Wii. Mr. Hall, I mean, what consoles did you have? Did you have all of them, or did you have the Xbox and the Wii?
Everything.
You had everything. So you had the PlayStation as well at some point.
I had a PlayStation 3 for a very short period of time, yeah.
Yeah. And what did you, out of the three of them, what was your favourite, do you think, overall? If you look at probably not fair to include the PlayStation, you've only had it for a short period of time, but
it's very difficult to call a winner between the Wii and the 360 because I loved the Nintendo Wii. I thought it was a very, very good console. I played the 360 far more though, but I think that was more of a social side of things than anything else.
Blew up, didn't it? That's the online.
Got really out of hand very quickly.
Everyone was literally people that don't normally, you wouldn't associate in our friends group that play games. Everyone was on Call of Duty every night.
Yeah. I mean, we were all glued to it for a long time, weren't we? So
yeah. In terms of your actual games, then, where would you say your highlights came from across those 3 platforms?
Gears of War.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, all of them.
1, 2, and 3. Not Judgment.
No, not Judgment. Not Judgment.
We don't talk about Judgment.
No.
1, 2, and 3 I loved, absolutely loved. I played them shed loads as well. I loved the online of it. I loved the way that it controlled. I thought they were just awesome games. I
love the co-op on that as well.
Yeah, I know people got frustrated with them online because it seemed like it was a bit of a shotgun fest at times, but I loved it. Once you got good at it, it was so satisfying. So that's that's definitely one of my games that I'd highlight as being best of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult to single out games on things like on the Wii. I love the Zelda games, both the Zelda games. They were both real highlights, but then they always are. That's not specific to last gen. That's across Nintendo since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Call of Duties that were out on the 360, Modern Warfare.
You liked Modern Warfare 2, didn't you? Yeah.
I loved Modern Warfare 2. I thought it was such a good game. It was so the online for it was just so smooth and so good. And that one I probably played more than I played Modern Warfare 1. I kind of caught up with you guys a little bit later because I got my Xbox 360 a little bit later than you lot because I was a Nintendo chappie before that. So I was a little bit late to the party, but I gave both of them a fair play. They definitely stick out as highlights on the previous console. And it's a bit disappointing now looking back that all 3 of those types of games that I've listed are all parts of a series. They're all big name series games. There's no sort of, I'm sure there is, but I can't think of them now. I'm thinking single games that have really stood out as just like a standalone title that haven't had a sequel or haven't been part of a series. So I'm a bit disappointed in myself that I haven't thought of anything up till now. Maybe I will while you're talking to Logan and I'll pipe in and be like,
that's that one. Mr. Logan, you had an Xbox 360.
Yeah.
You have a Wii now, so it's out of sync, but you have got one technically. Did you ever touch the PlayStation 3?
No.
Binned it?
Yeah, I think all I did really on that was play a couple of people on FIFA when I was around their houses. I literally did. I had no interest in getting it. There was nothing that brought me to it really, so I was quite happy.
To the Xbox though?
Well,
you had an Xbox original Xbox, didn't you?
I had an Xbox original.
Yeah. That will help.
And then I went off to university. So
here we go.
Yeah. And what happened was
where the wheels come off.
Well,
got him with drugs and cocaine.
And I think around the time I went to university was when the console jump went. So this is when the PS3 and the Xbox were released. And
PS3 was over a year later, but Xbox was out yet.
Yeah. And I remember talking with one of my flatmates at the time, and we were talking about getting a console because we thought, right, we need a games console here. Neither of us had brought one with us.
So between you, is going to get like a communal console for the
friends.
So we were talking about which one, and I didn't have an awful lot of money, so he was putting in the most of the money to it. So I was like, right, okay. And he was just like,
what sort of deal's this for him?
Well, it's anyway.
Guys, I think we need a console.
Yeah, and he's like, what?
No.
300, 400 quid. We definitely need one.
Well, this is what I mean. I was like, well, I've just gone to uni. He had a bit of money left over from working in the summer or something. But anyway. And he was just like, right, I think we should get the Xbox. I was like, well, I think we should be getting the PS3 really.
Right.
I was actually because the
Not in a position to
Xbox.
argue.
I wasn't
No.
well, and he
Didn't have the money, did you?
no, no,
Didn't have
no.
the
And what
financial
happened
clout.
was he went home one weekend or whatever and come back and he went, right, I bought an Xbox. I was like, right, well, let's make that decision then.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really that fussed, but I was a bit concerned at the time.
I bet
So I
you
remember there
sulked for
wasn't.
at least a day. You went in your room and sulked for at least half
No,
a
and
day.
he bought it
Wow.
and he went, we're set up in your room. I went, you sure
What?
you bought it? Do you want it? He was like, no, I
Who's
don't.
his friend?
He was like, I don't want it in my room, but I'll put it in your room because otherwise it would just distract me. I was like,
Logan
Sweet.
happy to be distracted.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Anyway, and it just and because he bought that, it just got me into 360. So that was my year while we were in halls. Literally, all we had on it, I
Yeah.
think, was Pro Evo. I think that's all we had because that's all we did.
That's probably the last of the half decent. I don't even think
Yeah.
actually the first one was poor. As the first poor one. What a downhill slope that's been.
Yeah.
So you had it in your halls basically.
Yeah, and
and
it
you
just
stuck
went
with
from
it.
there, and I stuck with it all the way through. I was quite happy with it, and yeah, I had no reason to get rid of it.
No. So
So
in terms of your game highlights, then, what were your favourites? I mean, I can name one of them without knowing. Obviously, it's
yeah,
going to be Modern Warfare, Call of Duty
yeah.
4,
Oh,
maybe Call of Duty World at War as well. I've heard you've rattled on about that a few
yeah,
times.
those two were probably. To be fair, it's the Modern Warfares and World at War. World
Yeah.
at War because I did enjoy the multiplayer. I didn't play it that much with anyone else because no one else was really that onto it, but I liked it. But for zombies, it was brilliant. It brought that
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
um,
Linfords, all
yeah,
sorts.
and I loved all the Modern Warfares. They were all brilliant. I mean, they slowly got a bit worse, but that's because I prefer the basics. But
Hmm.
I mean, one that springs to mind that may sort of go under the radar that I really enjoyed playing actually was Crackdown.
Yeah, I never actually. I had the demo for that. I think it came. Well, it came with something, and I had the demo for it, and I played the demo loads and loads and loads. And for whatever reason, I just never bought the full game, even though I had so much fun just
Yeah,
leveling up the character, getting his strength up so he could pick up cars, then
yeah,
getting the agility rank so he could jump higher. It was just like a mini superhero game, wasn't it? Where you just got stronger and stronger and could do all sorts of crazy shit.
yeah. I mean, the story in it was fucking crap. To be fair, it's pretty bog standard. Sort of get the Chinese people, whatever you call them. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, and you had your different areas of it, but it was so good. It was such good fun. You could literally go around just jumping and climbing up buildings all day and just fucking about. Really, it was just a good game. You could pop on and fuck about, not really achieve much, but still have good fun. And
Yeah.
it's a shame they really went and blew it on Crackdown 2, but
Yeah.
when it
Did you
come
play
out,
that?
no, I got warned off it quite quickly. I was eyeing it up, to be fair, and I was thinking, right, I'm really looking forward to this because Crackdown was so good. I thought, right, they'll really ramp it up in the same, because I saw it as a similar sort of stepping stone that Grand Theft Auto made.
Yeah.
They're different games, but they're similar in it because it's a free roam in a city. And I was thinking, right, what are they going to do? And then it's just fucking shit. It was just so diabolical. I mean, I didn't ever play it,
Yeah.
but from all the reviews and the videos I saw, I mean, it's just looked fucking dreadful. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh god, and that really put the pain in, really. And I think there was a rumor of Crackdown 3, but
Oh no, yeah, there was. I think it was at last year's E3. There was a trailer for it, but I've heard bollockal since. So
yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what went dead.
Yeah, I imagine it's still in development though. At E3, you sort of think that could be 2-3 years away. Sometimes it's a long, long way out. It's just an announcement. But
Yeah.
so do you think that'll do it then for your favourite ones on the last gen?
Well, I will freely admit that I was a sort of FIFA Call of Duty, and that was kind of my lot for a long period of time, especially while I was at university. I mean, I picked up Crackdown and a few other bits, but other than that, I was pretty much just on them pretty solidly. I did enjoy. Hall got me into Gears of War. I wasn't really that bothered about it to start off with. Obviously, Gears of War was a launch game, and it never really intrigued me while I was at university. But then I went back to them, and I absolutely loved them. I must admit, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did.
Well, can I say I'm shocked of one omission from maybe not Hall, but from you, Logan, and I actually missed it off of my honourable mentions in the last part.
Yeah.
And Grand Theft Auto 5. How has that been missed? Now, is that because it's now out on the current gen and you always think of it as an Xbox One? Yeah, I did that. I was not thinking it was a last gen game, but that's where it was released. You know, just because it's out now, it's been remastered, doesn't make it a current gen game. It's actually a remake of of an Xbox
I mean,
360 or PS3 title.
I would
That
argue that if you're saying of last gen, it should be GTA 4 because I think we forget how good that game really was.
I preferred 5.
I agree with you.
But to be fair, 4 had a lot. Like San Andreas to 4, the way the physics was on the characters was just amazing. That jump.
Yeah, I
4
think
came out a long time ago as well.
Yeah, long time
and
ago.
I think when you
2008.
when you think about how much, I mean, I remember sitting on there and just doing so much stuff, and I literally wasted away so much time on it. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the best games I think ever made. I don't think you can dispute that. I think it is just fantastic. But because it's been ported over, because it's so recent, I don't think I'd really look at it so much as a last gen game. Does that make sense? Even though it come out
right at the end of last gen, wasn't it? When I think of last gen, because it feels like it was so long ago. And like you say, because GTA 5 is still so much in the forefront of everything that's going on at the moment, you think of it as a now game rather than a while ago game. And it feels like, I mean, my 360, it feels like it's been out of commission for 10 years. I mean, obviously it's not, but it just feels like we've been on the Xbox One for so long now that it's like Logan says, I don't really consider that to be a last gen game.
Wow, it is.
It is, of course it is, yeah.
The reason why I forgot it off my honourable mention was because I agree with what you're saying with Grand Theft Auto, because it's been ported to the new consoles. In my head, because I'm playing it on my PlayStation 4, I just forgot it was even in the last generation. I thought, bloody hell, what an achievement that is for something that I'm playing quite a lot now on the current gen, for then to be ported up and actually originally be developed on the last generation of consoles. One I will say, I thought you'd pick, Logan, was Red Dead Redemption. Disappointed that.
See, I was going to say to you that I was literally about to say I'm going to forget something horrific.
Average game.
So the thing is, we could talk about this for so long. I enjoyed it. Just get ridiculous.
But not one of the best games.
That is criminal, Hall.
That is absolutely scandalous. I love that game.
That is scandalous, and I think that's the time to wrap it up as well. I like to leave it on a bit of an edgy note. Unbelievable. But don't forget, guys, you can subscribe to this podcast through any good podcast outlet. So iTunes, that sort of stuff. Stitcher, you got that there. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do via Twitter, which is @DimpDigital.
Hunt the Truth.
Hashtag Hunt the Truth. We're going to put on every single tweet now.
Yeah.
You can find us at that hashtag, definitely.
Search it.
Yeah. Facebook, which is facebook.com/DimpDigital. And you can get us via email, which is dimpdigitalmedia@gmail.com. Make sure you check out the Dimp Digital YouTube channel. We are constantly getting reviews, let's plays, let's talks, and other bits and bobs up there that you're going to want to see and not going to miss. But that's it for now. Game over. It's goodbye from Logan.
See ya.
It's goodbye from Hall.
Ta-da.
And it's goodbye from me, Apps. Thanks for your time, and ta-da.
Right, Apps. Come on. A confession to make quickly.
Go on.
We're going to have to bin that pool thing.
Yeah. What do you mean you have to bin it?
Well, from the podcast.
Oh, fucking hell. The whole thing's built around that. That's the core of the podcast, is the Pool Nation.
Why are we binning it off?
Because he ain't played it, is he, the twat?
No, I got in. It was on 26%.
I thought you started downloading it 4 days ago.
No, I told
me not to.
Wow.
With good reason. I will quite happily slag it off.
Alright, Hall can slag it off.
I haven't got anything to add. Because
all it'll add is that, Logan the sheep again. Whatever Hall says, I do.
No, I would never tell anyone not to download a free game, but that was literally the biggest waste of 12 gigabytes. I've deleted it already.